Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are here to discuss the very important topic of the application of generative AI and why this is disruption to cybersecurity, or what are the areas in cybersecurity that are going to be disrupted by this new way of processing information, and especially the given software to us that we all know is known as ChatGPT. So in this part one, actually, we will be discussing about the background, the basics that are needed to comprehend this new invention. And with me, I have Miss Mehrunisa, who is very good expert in artificial intelligence. She has experience in analysis of deception data, as well as she have worked on various other projects as well that involves AI, like source code analysis, as well as many other applications of cybersecurity. So today she is going to give us a detailed briefing on this whole area, how they are actually making sense to cybersecurity. So welcome, Ms. Mehrunisa. Can you please start the presentation for our audience, inshallah, and we will be discussing about uh, throughout your whole presentation.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. So today, as Dr. Masoom told us that the topic is why ChatGPT is disruption to cybersecurity. So we will be discussing the background and basics that are going to that are going to be discussed in the future in the upcoming series, so that we all know what are the terminologies and what and how all of the things and the technologies are working in this specific area. So first of all, we will start with so as we all know that artificial intelligence, like this all thing, all of the chat gpt is based on artificial intelligence. So let's start with what is artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence is a developmental system that can perform tasks that typically require human intelligence. So they are replacing the human intelligence, such as speech recognition, decision making, language translation. And there are many subsets of artificial intelligence, such as machine learning. We all know about machine learning and natural language processing, computer vision, which basically changed our day to day life. So whenever we talk about AI, so AI has been changing everything. Yeah, that how we work, how we do certain things. In this aspect as well, that AI has changed and transformed the game of chatbots. That how chatbot works, and we have only seen the traditional way of chatbots, that how they communicate and how they respond to user queries. So if we talk about chatbots, so how a simple chatbot that is just used to that was just that was used to basically performs a very simple and straightforward task, how it transformed to chat gpt. So we will be discussing all of the basics and background in this presentation. So there are basically three types of chatbots. Rule-based
I have
chatbots.
a question here, that why you are specifically focusing on chatbots? Like, what is the relationship between chatbots and the chat GPT or the generative AI thing that we are discussing today about? So, what is actually the relationship between both of them?
Basically, we before 2022, we have only seen the very simple, basically form of artificial intelligence. But when Chat GPT came, it basically opened a totally new and a totally different type of artificial intelligence that can generate text, that can generate things. We have been told that that artificial intelligence will only basically learn and do the things that it has been trained to do. But now it has just opened a very new and a very basically interesting domain that it can generate text, and we can talk to a human, like it can talk to a human. Chat GPT was a turning point that made us think that chat bots are converted into a thing that can totally converse that can totally basically communicate with a human, like a human. So that's why these two things are related.
Very well said. Yes, you can continue with your slides. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so there are three basic type of chatbots. There are basically rule-based chatbots, retrieval-based chatbots, and generative chatbots. Talking about rule-based chatbots, they are like if-else machines and if-else condition. They focuses on a predefined rule, and they respond to a specific keyword and phrases. For example, if you ask a rule-based chatbot about weather, it will look for a keyword like weather or forecast, and it will provide a predefined response, and basically answers the user query. So it is a very straightforward task, and it is limited, and it is very limited in its capabilities. Then we have retrieval based chatbots. So retrieval based chatbots are they basically use a predefined responses and templates to provide answers to user queries. And retrieval based chatbots basically works by matching user input to a database of predefined responses. So they are often used in facts that we see, like frequently asked questions, and they provide a very simple information. So you can ask it about company's business hours, so it can tell you. So now it comes to a generative part. Going back to the diagram, we can see that there are two domains. There are response generation and conversation domains. So conversation is done by user, and the response generation is basically done by the system that we are going to make. So we will be discussing the response generation part here, and for rule based and retrieval based, it is basically a very straightforward system that basically uh, do not need any other human intervention, but it is basically specified by human through if else condition. Then if this question is asked, it is this response should be given. So now we are moving towards the field and the area of study that basically opens a branch of generation, text generation, and understanding the text. So generative chatbots are basically AI based chatbots. They work like a smart assistant. They use NLP and machine learning to understand and respond to basically different user queries. And these chatbots are basically can learn from user interaction and improve their responses over time. For example, if you ask a AI powered chatbot about a product, it can understand the intent behind your query and then provide you a relevant information. So as you can see in the diagram, we have two types of chatbots and their comparison basically. One is rule-based chatbots and the other is AI-based chatbot. So the rule-based chatbot basically gives you a set of options from which you can choose yes or no, or do it or don't do it. Or if you click on either of the information, it will provide you the predefined information and responses. But AI-based chatbots are not like this. AI-based chatbot works like you have to whatever you ask, you can ask from any domain. It will give you the answer of it, and it can generate the answer. Their answers are not always perfect, like the rule-based chatbots, because they are already defined. But their answers are always free from grammatical mistakes, and they depend on how you have trained them. So moving on to the difference in working of different types of chatbots. So you can see in the diagram in the right hand side that it is this is how a rule based chatbot works. So it
So
drive.
one more question here,
Yes.
Ms. Meher. For example, in the rule-based chatbot, what you are suggesting or you're telling us that if there is no rule defined, the
Yes.
answer of the rule-based chatbot will be like I don't know or something like that, whereas the AI chatbot is much more intelligent than that. How you are actually making a comparison? So a real world example would be something that really differentiates between the AI chatbot and the rule-based chatbot.
Yes, basically, whenever you ask a rule-based chatbot about something that it does not have any information about, it will respond. It will respond like either it will not show you the option. Basically, you can choose from the two or three multiple choices, or if you can, if they are basically making you able to write something on your own, it will either provide you a very irrelevant question or a predefined question that is something like I don't know, or this information is not is outside my domain, and it cannot process that information, the query of the user. But when
Okay.
it comes to AI based chatbots are not meant to respond in a predefined way. Like they do not whenever we give information and data to train an AI based chatbot, whenever we are giving information, they are not using the straightforward the exact same information in the responses. They learn to generate responses, and then that's why they can generate they can generate responses to any questions. Like if you ask about anything, even if they do not don't have the information about it, it can answer you in some way.
Sure. One more, I mean, just a hint here as well that if you have used WhatsApp Business for many of the organizations, like I know as well, for example, SCCP in Pakistan, also I think Uphone as well, they also have WhatsApp number. So if you talk to their chat bot, that's a rule-based chat bot. So it gives you set
Yes.
of options, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And then you select that, provide some information, and then actually it processes. But out of that information, that chatbot is not able to do anything. I mean, at best, it can gives you all the menus again. That's it,
Yes,
basically. So that's
exactly.
actually
Yes.
an example of a rule-based chatbot, okay? Whereas the AI chatbot is more like a chat GPT, okay? So you always talk, and I was curious about one more thing as well. How it learns from your input actually and makes its output better as well. That's actually the point that you made, that it understands your sentiments as well. So how is that actually? Can you please enlighten us with that point as well? Yeah.
Basically, there are different techniques to make a chatbot learn, but the specific one that we are going to talk about is NLP, natural language processing. It is the basic thing that made it learn and process information and generate and understand text. So it is all about natural language processing and machine learning, which is natural language processing is a subset of machine learning, which makes it possible for a machine to basically understand the text. And when if we talk it in simple words, it basically whenever we see an any ML implementation, machine learning implementation, we give the model, we train a model on a set of data. So in this case as well, we give a very long text corpus or some dialogues of a conversation between two person and a dialogue. So it learns from it, and it learns that how the both parties are communicating, and how they both are making queries and answering queries. So that's how it learns the patterns of the text, and how they are generating information, and how they are answering. And if you have asked how is your day, you have to answer it in this specific way. So it learns from patterns of the chat and that text corpus.
Sure, sure. Thank you very much for this very nice explanation. Please move on.
Okay, sir. So now, as we were talking about natural language processing, and we will discuss that how natural language processing, what is natural language processing, and how it make us able to learn from text. So natural language processing stands for NLP basically stands for natural language processing, and it is a branch of AI that focuses on enabling computers to understand and interpret and generate human language. So there are three types of natural language processing. One is NLP that we discussed that we discussed earlier, and the other two are natural language generation and natural language understanding. So talking about natural language understanding, it focuses on enabling computers to understand the meaning behind human language. So it involves techniques such as name entity recognition, part of speech tagging, and sentiment analysis. And on the other hand, NLG focuses on enabling computers to generate human-like language, like text planning, sentence generation, grammar checking, and basically it gives the idea of like basically NLU focuses on understanding the meaning behind language, and NLG focuses on generating natural language text. So with the combination of these two, we are able to make applications like ChatGPT to basically provide different options to user from the provided text. So they, as you can see in the first picture, there are a very few, I would say, implementation or benefits of natural language processing. The first is raw language processing, entity extraction, relationship extraction, topic classification, sentiment analysis, and we all have been using NLP and natural language processing in machine learning as well. Whenever we train a model, whenever we train a machine learning model, if the data set is not in text, we always use natural language processing to convert it into text, into basically digit, or we would say to convert it into something that is calculated by
Are
machine
you
learning.
talking about some encoding or something like that?
Yes, sir. Pre-processing.
Okay.
We call it
Pre-process.
pre-processing. Whenever we are making the data suitable for training to be trained by a model, a machine learning model, we pre-process it and make it like a uniform. So whenever we are doing it, we call it pre-processing. And in pre-processing, we have multiple techniques according to the data. So whenever there is some text involved, like there is logs, which contain text information, so in that case we will use NLP to tokenize the data, to do word embedding, to make sections, and to make a word and pair of words into a token representation. So if we convert the whole data set, text data set, into NLP, using NLP into a tokenization and tokens, we can be able to pass it to any machine learning model, and do the training part. So we all have been using NLP in this way, but now there is totally a different side of NLP that we are seeing in ChatGPT case. So moving on towards generative AI. So we all are
Can
talking
you
about.
please go back to the slide? I have a question actually, Vishal.
Yes.
Okay, these are all the things which are like for pre-processing, like you mentioned, tokenization, stemming, all of that.
Yes, sir.
But the sentiment analysis or spell checking or text summarization, this is this also part of the pre-processing, or this is actually the actual conclusion that we are getting out of any chatbot or any NLP system?
Basically, all of them are the previous use cases of NLP that we have been using in the past. That we have been using text summarization, NLP for text summarization. And by the way, spell checking is also done by NLP. And whenever we are using, also if we go to a more high level side, text to speech and speech to text is done by NLP. So we have all been using NLP in different cases apart from machine learning. So whenever you are seeing part of speech POS tagging. So it is related to basically text summarization. So it's all is a family of things that we can do, including all of them. So it's not just pre-processing.
Okay, there is one more question actually that I think most of the viewers will also be having in their mind. Uh, like we have classification, we have clustering. These are the main things actually, and also on top of it, we have reinforcement learning in AI as well. When we talk about this new class of NLP, so is it? I mean, this will be just a very basic or rudimentary question, but I want to clarify this thing for the audience that uh, is this NLP means that it will be able to do classification and clustering and reinforcement learning and all these things, or basically how, or we have to connect different other algorithms as well behind the NLP, how it actually works, basically.
Basically, whenever I'm going to give an example here, that whenever we are training a machine learning algorithm, so it works by calculation and digits. It works in digits, and it cannot process much natural language that we speak. So whenever it comes to natural language, anything that has to be done in natural language section is done by NLP. So it the things that are that classification and clustering that machine learning was doing, it can do the part which is connected to natural language. If it is in natural language, it can do better than the machine learning and other basically types of artificial intelligence. But when
So
it is not,
are you saying this thing that whatever problem that we are going to solve, we have to bring it to the natural language first, and then it will be able
yes.
to perform, or how it has to be?
Yes, it is basically NLP stands for natural language processing. So it process only natural language.
Okay, 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 okay. I have one
But
more question basically, but I'm going to ask in the end of this or maybe in the next part as well. So how it actually then include other branches as well, like for example, source code analysis. Now, source code is not part of a natural language, okay? So how it
yes,
is
sir.
performing the source code analysis, right? So let's move on, and then inshallah we'll have other time as well. Go ahead.
Sure, sir. Mhm. So now we are coming towards generative AI. So what is generative AI? Generative AI basically is a type of artificial intelligence that can create new things like images, music, or even text. It can it works by learning patterns and styles from existing data that we have discussed earlier, and basically it use the styles and patterns of existing data into using it basically uses the knowledge of knowledge and generate new and unique content. So, for example, you can train a generative AI on a data set of cat images. Using this data set, the system can learn to recognize features that make a cat or that make a cat. The features of a cat, like pointy ears or a furry tail. So once it has learned the features, it can then generate new images of cats that we have never seen before. So that is how generative AI uses trained information to generate new content. So whenever it comes to a new content, we have multiple things that we have to focus. Like you can see in the slide, if it is able to generate new content, so it can produce entirely new data that doesn't exist anywhere. Think about the countless opportunities for exploration and research. Like if we are talking about generative AI and talking about new data. So data is everywhere in every field, and in every field of world, every field is that is connected to technology. It has data, so it can create any data into it can take any data and transform into making new things, like just like a human does. It can create new characters, cartoon characters, something like that. And it can enhance current algorithms by producing training data for fresh neural network, or making cutting edge architecture. For example, if you need that we have seen synthetic data sets, so we can use that generative AI to generate such data set, to basically train machine learning models even further. So it functions as a machine that creates a better machine. And if we are giving it a set of data that is about creating a machine, it can create machines. So it is very scary, and it opens endless opportunities, and it has to be explored a lot in order to make very unique content out of it. So that's when the chat gpt um, was that's how the chat gpt was made. And that's why it literally changed everything for every one of us. So it generative adversarial networks, basically gpt stands for wait a minute. Basically, it uses generative adversarial networks, GAN, or variational in autoencoders. So whenever we talk about generative AI, we talk about transformers. So, what are transformers? So, basically, transformer refers to a specific type of neural networks, a network architecture that is used to process sequential data, such as like sequential data that we have seen and we have used in machine learning a lot. So, in GPT as well, it is used to process input text and generate new text output. And it consists of a series of layers of each layer of and each layer consists of basically several self-attentive mechanism that can enable the model to basically select and focus on different points of input text whenever it is needed, and whenever it is needed for prediction.
While you have your third point and you have written a very like a word scary, so can you please describe like why it functions as a machine that creates better machines? Like, is this the future or how you envision this thing?
So basically, whenever we are giving something to a human, it will create something. It is very creative. A human is very creative, that it creates something new out of it. So we have never imagined this to be done by a machine. So if a human can create a machine, and we are saying a similar example, that generative AI can create new data, unique data that we have never seen before. So that's how it's scary that an AI is working as intelligent, is basically performing as intelligently as a human. That if a human can create a machine, it can also create a machine. And if it is able to create a machine, it is a very endless type of thing that it can, like, we will not need human for any purpose in this case. So that is how that is how it is moving towards like strong AI. So generative AI is basically moving very strong towards strong AI, where AI is capable of like monitoring and like doing a lot of things better than human. So it can like take away any human efforts and do
In other words,
everything on
human
its
jobs
own.
as well, right? That's
Yes, sir.
uh, the most dangerous way actually, that it can
Yes,
take
sir.
human jobs as well. Okay, okay. Yeah, move forward. Yeah.
So as we talk about generative AI, so generative AI, the first type of generative AI we have seen that it's chatbots, that chat GPT. It has many benefits. As we can see that it can it is it benefits in automating the manual process of writing content that we have been doing with chat gpt, that we are making him do the job for us, specifically for writing, and reducing the efforts to respond to emails, improving responses to specific technical queries, creating realistic representation of people, summarizing complex information into coherent narrative, simplifying the process of creating content in a particular style. So we all have created many things, like we all have explored ChatGPT in different ways according to our fields. But whenever it comes to like a live example, it is ChatGPT, that it can create many things. It can do many things from the text that we provide it, and it just behaves like a human, and even in some cases better than a human. So so if we go deep in the world of generative and pre-trained transformers, we can actually visualize that generative AI is why it is generative, because it can generate new things. So if it is able to generate new things, it can generate many things that we have not seen, or even now as a student, we use ChatGPT to do a lot of things for us, to summarize text, or if we have a very long document, we have to read it in few minutes. We will just copy it and paste it to ChatGPT, and it will give us a summary. So this is how it is evolving, and basically removing efforts. Basically it is transforming things for us. It is the thing that is taking 2 hours, it is now it takes less than 5 minutes just by ChatGPT. So that is the basically a very live example that we all are seeing of generative AI, and that is just a glimpse of generative AI, and it can perform many more things as well in the future. So in this series, we are going to talk about how it is basically transforming, and how we can also do something like with generative AI and transform our existing system into like a more better and very fast actually. So that's how we are going to summarize this, that if we are going to take the example of chat gpt, and then how it is going to affect us in the future. So in these series, we will be able to basically make use of it to generate our own applications, and to use for example, if you want to transform an existing application into a new one, uh, generative AI gives us the ability. And now after ChatGPT, things are very clear, and now we can develop things very domain specific chatbots like ChatGPT for our own applications. So
So
in
I
the next
have
part, yes,
just
sir.
one second. If you can go back to the slide, I have a question. Uh, if you go back, yeah. So if you see basically that you are saying that text to product will be a draft. So we will give the text, and the chat GPT or any GPT solution will be able to develop a product. So let's go deep into that. What models do you think will be working behind the scene for such a generative AI system? What do you think?
If we talk about a very big system, that includes not only ChatGPT. ChatGPT is very general, and it works in different areas. But if we talk about a very big system that generate text to product, so a very simple example of it is we are asking ChatGPT to write a code for us, and it write it will write a code for us, whatever it is for an application or something like that, and we use it in our product, or it is a code of a product. So that's how it is basically making we are just giving him a text, and it is writing a code and making a product for us.
Okay, so you are saying that we have to specialize it actually. So we have to specialize it on some of the domain specific data, and then it will be able
Yes.
to realize a text into a product. But this will be very interesting if we can see as part of this series that how can we have such a domain specific thing being generated by these chatbots. That is really interesting to see. So hopefully we'll have such examples coming in up in our series. Yes, you can move on. Thank you.
Yes, we are actually wait a minute. So in the next part, we will discuss about GPT use cases, that in what areas we can use Chat GPT, and what are the online implementation options that are available, paid and unpaid both. So in the next part, we will be discussing about the very real world examples and different use cases of NLP and generative AI, and how we can create our own domain specific chatbots.
Thank you so much. That was really, really informative and very good presentation, Miss Meher. So I'm really, really
Thank you so
thankful to
much.
you for you to take your time out. And so viewers, inshallah, we will see you in the next part, which is very exciting. That what are the GPT use cases and implementation. So see you till that time. Thank you, Miss Meher.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Thank you so much, sir.
Yes. Salam.